Welcome to this week's jam-packed Swarf and Chips. Today's show is dedicated to the MTD team's trips around the UK. Colin visits Wilbur Components to discuss their recent Herco purchase. Mark, you spoke to the new UK sales director for Lacuna at the SECO Inspiration Through Innovation event. They discuss why the tooling sector is key to their future. Paul visits Kelly Precision in Ireland, specifically to talk about the benefits of automation. And also a visit to Whitehouse Machine Tools is on the agenda. Mark, you give us a stupendous cycle time challenge from his visit to MC&C in Somerset. And we also touch base with Vero Software at the KMF Group. This is one of the largest sheet metal subcontracting companies in the UK. All happening on today's Swarf and Chips. We have got a wicked Swarf and Chip show today. The videos coming up are really informative, so it's definitely one to watch. But this is the first week we're back in the studio since Swarf 100.
It was actually, it was amazing, and there's always one that dresses up differently, isn't there? Not pointing the finger or anything.
Oh, Colin. Oh, Colin.
Top show, weren't
yeah,
it? Brilliant, absolutely spot on.
We'd also like to thank our suppliers that donated the gifts to us to go out as prizes. So, PSL Data Track, thank you. Hi4, Kaisera, Star GB, Citizen, ZCC Cutting Tools, DMG Mori, and Cogsdill. Special shout out to Lee Donaldson there as well. So, thank you.
And they've got another special offer on at the minute, Cogsdill, on their deburring and roller burnishing tool. So get in touch with Cogsdill to find out more.
Any opportunity to go. So, any excitement on your travels before we see the first video?
You was at Mazak, wasn't you?
Yeah, Mazak was an absolutely phenomenal event as always. We were at the University of Wolverhampton. They've got a race team there, and they are starting up a collaborative event with lots of different partners, and again very educational, very inspiring for the students. And we had a good trip down south, didn't we, to MC&C. That was
fantastic.
A fabulous facility.
Don't forget we're doing podcasts now.
Well, I couldn't go to Mazak because I've been busy elsewhere, which I can't tell you about until it all comes out.
Secret mission in Denmark.
But I listened to the podcast when I had that moment travelling between where I'm going. So
I liked it. They were quite controversial, and I really, really enjoyed that about them. But don't forget, all podcasts are available on the website, YouTube, Google Play, and Spotify. Anyway, let's kickstart and see Colin at Wilbur.
Right, guys, I popped in to see our friend Gareth from Wilbur Components. We know them for their hydraulic components and subcontract work. We also know huge fans of Herco, turning and milling. You've got, in terms of your milling, 3-axis, 3+1, but what have you gone and done?
We've bought a VMX 42 SRTI full simultaneous 5-axis.
Oh, look at the big smile on your face. So, you do intricate parts at the moment, absolutely. Yep. What does this mean to you?
It just means they're done in one hit, far more efficiently, less operator intervention. We've also bought a suite of hypermill to complement it, so it's straight from model to program to the machine without touching it, and it's ready to run.
Now, in terms of hypermill, you did say something earlier. What was that in terms of when it was machined the first time?
Yeah, there was a lot of cycle stops being pressed. Obviously the trust wasn't there first time out the box. I think it took us 2.5 hours for a 40-minute part the first time with all the measurements. In hindsight, yeah, we could have hit the button and walked away and it would have been bang on.
So you should have trusted it, really.
Very much so.
Okay. But in terms of easy use, this machine and the hypermill, easy to use?
For the lads, yeah, they're pretty good. They've grown with Herco controls over the last 10 or 15 years. The hypermill, our CAD engineer Rob, he's took to it really well, and it really is phenomenal, yeah.
So basically having machine software together, just essentially making manufacture your parts a lot more efficient.
Very much so, yeah.
Right, great endorsement of both products. Back to studio.
Oh, Colin, it is so good to see Gareth and how happy he is. It's like me when I get a sticky toffee pudding when he got his 5-axis machine.
Yeah, I'll say you eat that as well. It's disgusting.
Oh no, don't be silly.
We've booted deadly off. Sorry, Mark, but I just wanted to showcase this video because the passion that's coming out of Gareth, and it's just brilliant because before they were doing 3-axis, 3+1, this 5-axis machine, they can still do the 3-axis work, it's just making things quicker. But it's just changed everything really, and that part you couldn't really sit there. But here you can see those were 2 degrees off, so you couldn't really do that. Loads of different fixturing. plus the software as well. The fact they were standing over it next to the stop button, they didn't really trust it initially.
They weren't, were they?
And
They were a bit nervous.
he was looking at the software, and when it was cutting, thinking that's not right, and because he's a tried and tested engineer, as are all the guys there. But just the way it machined it, it's just changed everything for them. And the cycle time reduction, I won't say because there is a cycle time challenge coming up. So watch this space. But just enthusiasm, passion, loves it.
You can see it. You can see it. And he wasn't confident, and now he is, and it's proved it. And I think this is going to take his company forward. We've seen the growth, and it's going to go forward, and it's going to get bigger and better.
Yeah, and he wants to concentrate on subcontract work as well. Known for their hydraulic components, but this just takes them,
Yeah.
I think he's passed on that passion to you as well. I
Yes.
think that...
He's saying I'm not passionate normally.
No, but I think that your passion really comes out as well from this particular video. And I think that this shows, and as well, in my opinion, it illustrates there's lots of different fifth axis machines out there now, lots of different options. But I love this one personally, this kind of configuration, because it's so flexible.
Absolutely.
You can use it as a 3-axis, a 4th axis, or a 5th axis.
Fine.
Okay, so don't forget to get involved with the Cycle Time Challenge later on in the show. But next up, Mark talks tooling with Lacuna.
Daniel, you've recently joined the UK operation as sales director from the main headquarters in Austria. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background in Lacuna?
Yes, sure, Mark. I'm very glad to be here in the UK. I worked in Lacuna before as an application engineer as well as a sales manager in Italy. And as I said, I'm very glad to be here now in the UK because it's a very interesting market over here.
And one thing I've noticed with Lacuna is a lot of people think that your products are very much for the laboratory sort of sector, but really when you think about it, surface finishing is not just about tooling, it's about the end product. And I suppose the SECO event that we're at today, the ITI, is very much showing that today, isn't it?
Exactly. So many people are maybe thinking we are a tool or a kit for laboratory measurement, but we are moving away from this, installing our devices in the production on the shop floor. Like we can see here today, we have installed another device next to a turning machine, which will allow us to do an automated measurement of surface finish, as you mentioned before, yeah?
And any engineers that are watching this video that haven't got to the SECO event, what options are available to see your products actually being demonstrated?
We have a really, really nice showroom and office over in Market Harbor Row. And the message to the engineers I want to send out, come to us, give us a call, let's do it together, a demonstration appointment, and do some application work together.
Great, thanks very much. Good luck, Daniel.
Thank you, Mark.
Lovely to have you back in studio, Mark.
Passport's back, it's not been surrendered.
So, you know, the machine tool industry is evolving. We talk about it a lot. But is the metrology side of the industry evolving too?
Well, recently I've been to quite a big aerospace first-tier supply chain. And I was talking to the quality manager there, and he did say to me, he said, I love MTD CNC, but you don't focus as much on metrology. And I said, look, you know, we can only get as much information. But what I like about these guys is that their products have very been based in the lab, for instance, but they've actually come out of that and they're actually measuring surface wear. So, for instance, if you're using a tooling solution effectively, you want to know at what point the tool is not being optimised or could break.
Yeah, the industry's changing. We talk about automation, don't we, Gio? You know, how are you going to control that? Automation, lights out machining?
I think you've touched on it really, Lindsay. I think the industry has been evolving in regards to the technology and the processes, so automation and more complex components being manufactured on fifth axis machines, 3D printing, additive manufacturing. Now, these components need to be inspected, but also we're manufacturing the parts faster. So we need to keep up pace with that in the metrology side. So the way in which we check them needs to be faster. But then also, when you're running unmanned, we need to be able to monitor the tools overnight to be able to know how long that particular tool's going to last.
Yeah, it's all changing. So anyway, still to come, Mark visits Whitehouse Machine Tools, and Mark has a great cycle time challenge from MCNC. And we also talk to software at the largest sheet metal subcontracting company in the UK. But first, let's go to see Paul, who's got the luck of the Irish at Kelly Precision.
Today I'm actually in Ireland. I'm here at Kelly Precision. We always talk about automation on Swarf and Chips, but what about seeing it in action? That's exactly what we've got here at Kelly Precision. I'm going to talk to Jim. Jim, a fascinating cell that you've got here with the lead wells and also the Victor behind us. Tell us about your belief in automation and why you've embraced it so much.
It's the way forward, simple. it makes us competitive. It makes us run lights out. It's without automation, we just couldn't compete.
Is that the case? I mean, if you didn't have the robots, I think you got, is it 28 robots on site?
We've got 60 machine tools and 28 robots.
So if you didn't have those robots, how fewer components would you get out the door? Is there any sort of analysis, 20%, 30% less parts?
We will be about 40% down and maybe more, 50% down on the components we can get out the door. And we would need a much bigger factory, everything. But with the automation now, we can run lights out, as I say. I know I mentioned that before, but we can run lights out, and 22, 23 hours a day our machines work.
Doing exceptionally well at the moment. Founded in 1994. I've done my research. You've just got a new facility as well, a new building, which you're about to fill with machines as well. Just tell us how things are for you at the moment here in Kelly in Ireland.
Things are going quite well at the moment. We're quite busy, very busy at the moment. We've taken on more staff. We're hoping to purchase more machines and maybe a couple of lead wells even in the very, very, very near future. And we're building a new facility, just 8,000 square feet, adding on to our existing 4 facilities that we have here in this industrial estate. So we're expanding quite rapidly.
What's your strengths? What are you good at?
We're flexible, on-time delivery, supply chain. We're able to deal with the customer, solve his problems for him at our end, so that he doesn't have them when he gets our parts. We just can react quite quickly to what the customer wants.
I mean, it's evident here we're seeing 5-axis machining and turning. Are these mainly your strengths, your disciplines here, turning and milling? Do you go beyond that, grinding, boring, gear cutting? Is there anything else you add into the mix?
No, we stick with turning and milling because we know turning and milling quite well, and we're quite good at it. And I'm of the belief that the fewer things you do, the better you're going to be able to do them. So we turn and mill quite complicated parts. As I said, some of our parts can take 60 and 70 tools to complete, making cavities. We make very deep grooves, internal grooves in parts, and we're quite good at that. So we tend to stick with that.
Where do people find your parts then, Jim, that you're making? In cars, in aeroplanes, on boats?
You will find them all over the world on construction machines, on lorries, on boats, possibly airplanes. Yes.
And when you say all around the world, so how much is your domestic market, and how much of your business is overseas?
Our domestic market would be quite small, maybe 15%, 20%, and even that domestic market is going to customers who are exporting there. The rest of our produce, then 75% of it, is exported worldwide. We export to Sweden, France, Germany, Italy, and the US.
And you couldn't do all that if you didn't have automation like this?
No, absolutely, and not be able to supply the customers the parts they need when they need them, supply them on time, and have the quality that they demand.
Good stuff. I really learnt a lot today about automation. We talk about it all the time, but actually to see it in action here and find out from Jim exactly how much more productive he is as a result has been fascinating.
Wow, it really is fascinating. 50% improvement on the amount of parts that they're making. That's massive figures.
It's phenomenal, really, and I think that, firstly, I'm loving the ABB robots, but firstly, when you look at automation now, a lot of the machine tool people are having their own automation solutions, and they are an option now. And if they are buying a standard machine, they are automation ready, so it can be added from themselves or from a third party, like we see at Kelly Precision there. But I mean, it's great to see that UK engineering is embracing this technology now.
Yeah.
Finally,
has the day come where you actually buy a machine tool that is actually automated rather than actually by a sort of third party? I reckon that's where it's going, because DMG Rory, for instance, they've got their own products, but I personally
agree with that, but also, Mark, there is that element of disagreeing. If people are specifically dedicating their industry to one thing, so the robotics, they're doing that, and then the machine tool guys are dedicating their lives to one. But
you used to buy a car and you used to buy your sat nav. now it's normally in it.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
true.
So I'm just saying, it's automation is the way to go to be competitive.
Definitely.
I think in certain scenarios, yeah, definitely. I think there's still a place for your prototype work where you'll just have your standalone machines. But it's great to see now that the UK manufacturing sector is actually taking it on board now.
Definitely. Now, it's your chance to get involved with the Cycle Time Challenge as Mark visited MCNC in Somerset, and it looks very much like a DMG Mori showroom.
This week I got a stupendous Cycle Time Challenge. I'm here in sunny Somerset at MCNC with Lee. Now Lee, this component, tell me a little bit more about it.
Well, this is a component made from titanium for the oil and gas industry, and one of the massive benefits and savings that we've had is we've reduced it from 3 operations how we used to do it. Now we're doing it on the DMU with a PH150. We're down to 1 op. Alibi, there is a snap off and there is a little bit of hand finishing to do, but we've severely reduced our cycle times on this.
Hard metal titanium?
It's a tough material to machine, and providing you use the right strategies, so you get the right tooling, the right rigidity, the right work holding, and most importantly, the right amount of coolant flow, then we tend to be quite good at machining titanium.
Well, there you go. How long do you think this component has been made on the DMU 50 at MCNC?
It was very understated, wasn't it? We tend to be quite good at cutting titanium.
Well, Gio was with me, and it was sunny in Somerset, to be fair. But
it's a lovely day.
The wonderful thing with these guys is they've bought all these DMG Mori machines based on their individual finance package from DMG Mori.
Oh, that's what they're doing now.
Focusing on this, what I didn't mention for a reason to be a little bit different is that there was up to 4 ops on this component. So, and it was taking around about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. So that's a key.
Yeah, now they've got it down to 2 operations, and I mean it is quite a complex component. You know, there's a lot of metal removal there.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you because you guys know the answer anyway because you were there. But this is time for you yourself to get your Cycle Time guesses to win a Swarf and Chips goodie bag. There's been lots of people who have won previously, so make sure you put your guesses in the comments box below. Next up, for the penultimate video, Paul visits Whitehouse Machine Tools, who have a brand new agency.
Ian, for Swarf and Chips this week, I want to touch on this wheelie 5-axis machine. Well priced, £140,000. Tell us about the specification of this model.
Yeah, the machine, it comes with Big Plus tooling. It's got 40 tools in the carousel. We've got the Swarf conveyor on there. It's a drag conveyor. We've got the oil skimmer on there. We've got high pressure coolant at 22 bar and there's a super clean tank. We've got the oil chiller at the back for the spindle. Yes, it's a really, really high spec machine.
And how long have you been supplying these now at Whitehouse Machine Tools, the wheelie product?
We've had the wheelie agency since the summertime, so around about 4 or 5 months now.
And if you had to describe the makeup of the machines and how they're made, what would your opinion be?
Oh, very robust, very strong. They're a good Taiwanese product with all Japanese components in the machine. They're really, really strong and rigid machines.
And when you look at how this fits in amongst your other machines that you offer, like for example the spinner and the other your other 5-axis offerings, this is a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's slightly different setup with what we've got on there. It's a smaller table for the smaller components. So yeah, it's a little bit different to what we've already we've got with the spinners.
Where's the market for this for you, Ian? Do you think at Whitehouse?
I think for people breaking into the 5-axis market with small components and they want to get onto 4-axis machining or 4+1 machining, and it's got the Fanuc controller on there, so it's a fairly simple control to use. So I think that's the market we're going to be aiming for.
And having sold already since you took the agency on about 4 machines, you've done quite well so far.
Yeah, we've done very well. We've ordered 5 machines at the beginning of the agency, and we've sold 4. We've sold 3 of them before they've even hit the ground. So yeah, it's gone really, really well.
And this could be the next on the list for someone. And if you want to get this machine, you need to be quick. £140,000 5-axis machine. Contact Whitehouse Machine Tools to find out a little bit more about what comes with it. Thank you very much, Ian.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very impressive to sell 4 of the 5 machines already that they'd ordered.
Good salesman.
I think
Good machine.
A great machine at an absolutely unbelievable price, really. I mean, 140 grand for a 5-axis machine with Fanuc control, perfect. I mean, great for people looking to get into 5-axis machining. You get really good value for money, and for small components, spot on.
Great. I think with the portfolio that Whitehouse have got, they've got spinner and they also got brother. This fits quite nice. So when you go into a customer, there's a little bit more in the portfolio to say, well, we've got products
Different
to meet your
options.
needs. Yeah.
And I do hope when people are watching our videos that, you know, when you are going out to purchase a machine, you are considering all these different brands that are out there, because, you know, that's what we're doing, and we're finding the pros and the cons. It's going to happen to all of the machine tool companies, you know, in the individual machines.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's all machines are application specific. There'll be
Exactly.
one machine that will suit your application better than another.
Definitely. Right, so we've got just enough time to go over to Mark at the KMF Group talking software with Vero.
We visit many companies with machine tools, but we don't talk about software as much. Now I'm here with Justin. Justin, you're from Vero Software, and you've brought us along to KMF Precision Engineering in Staffordshire. Now, one of your flagship companies. Tell me a little bit about the journey with Vero Software and KMF.
KMF and Vero started working together some years ago with our Radan software in their sheet metal company. They've now evolved into the precision engineering. So it seemed a good fit from our side, and it certainly seems to fit them to supply EdgeCam to program their machine tools.
Now, I see downstairs that from a precision point of view, they've gone into the 5-axis area of Mazak. Obviously, EdgeCam is perfect for that type of equipment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. They use it on they've got the Variaxis and VTC down there, Mazak machine tools. They seem to be going along well with it. One of the programmers, in fact, had done his first 5-axis part prior to doing the training course, so that was quite a surprise.
Yeah, well, I think that says it all. But when you look at companies like this, I mean, it wasn't an easy process, was it? Because you still had to bid for the actual purchase of EdgeCam.
Yeah, that's correct. They like to negotiate here with their power, but also, they did their due diligence and looked around at the marketplace. But I think based on the relationship we've got with what we've given them with Radan so far, I think that was what sealed it in the end.
And for those engineers probably don't know the full background to Vero Software and what you actually offer, what brands have you got?
Really, it's pretty much most production engineering solutions now, but Radan for sheet metal, we've got EdgeCam for milling and turning, we've got Work NC for very high-end 5-axis finishing and roughing, we've got Visi as well, which is very popular in the mould and die market.
And you said to me earlier on today when we was with KMF downstairs is that sometimes a lot of people actually buy machine tools and then rush in to get the CAM or the CAD CAM effectively. KMF a little bit different.
Absolutely. These guys had a very fresh, methodical approach. They had a very phased-in training plan, and I do believe that's helped them with the success of where they've gone.
One thing I read at KMF is that they've got a big apprenticeship program here. Do you know much about it?
Yeah, they've actually got their own training apprentice centre, and here at Precision Engineering in the middle of the shop floor, there's actually some manual machine tools and apprenticeships going through. What Vero Software are now offering KMF and our other customers is free apprentice training courses now with our softwares.
And any engineers that don't know Vero Software, what would be your message to them?
Challenge us, give us a try. We are the world's largest CAD/CAM suppliers, and we believe we have very, very good solutions out there.
So a product goes out to tender, they've checked all of their due diligence, and they still choose Vero.
Well, KMF Group, I mean, they're one of the UK's largest sheet metal companies by far, and they've been using Radan for a number of years, so it's probably going to give them a bit of advantage with Vero straight away. But EdgeCam, it's so well known, it's so well supported, and Vero have been bought by Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence, so they're part of a really big group. But you know, they've really sort of spent a lot of money on some really sophisticated machine tools for the 5-axis side of the business, and EdgeCam has been fantastic for them, I've got to say.
Yeah, I like the niche products that they offer for each particular application. So they've got a specific product for each application, not just one that's for everything.
And I think that's why the loyalty is there, because they can branch out to different areas of the industry too.
Yeah, and I think the relationship as well, it's all about relationship. I mean, Justin's been around for a number of years, and he every customer I know he's been into, he's got a great relationship with them as well. Really,
he's a lovely bloke. He's a nice chap.
There you go. Right, let's end on a high then. So next week, Gio and Colin made the long journey on their northern tour, highlighting some very amazing customers.
It's hard work, really hard.
Being with Colin, right. So they find out some interesting solutions. We meet the winner of Swarf and Chips 100. So make sure you're keeping your Friday lunchtime free. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. For any previous episodes, click on the links on the screen. And as we always say, keep those spindles turning.